Today's keynote is going to be about something a little bit strange, but of course it's innovation related. Now today's keynote is about delight and how delight, the delightometer, the delight factor, the things that delight us, however you want to put it, how that changes when the world changes. And I'm going to demonstrate it, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it. So what you see here is me, and this is my kind of actual background. I'm sitting at my desk, and behind me there is a couple of shelves, and I have all sorts of weird stuff on my shelves. So if people are having a Zoom meeting with me, this is what they see. Now, of course, this is not actually me sitting at my desk. This is just me using a picture of that on my green screen background. Because right now I'm standing, so I can walk around. And then of course the illusion is completely broken. Most of you will probably have seen, is he actually sitting at his desk? It looks like it's a little bit weird. Is it a green screen? Isn't it? There's a little bit of But of course the moment I get up and walk around, that is broken. But it does give me the opportunity to do this, because now it's obvious I'm at a green screen. And why would I show you this first? Well, so I can do a little trick, because here is my green screen. Or of course there's a starlit field here, a starlit sky, and it's on my green screen. And that gives a nice background. But it also gives me an opportunity to do a trick, and this is where the delight comes in. Because I can do this. Oh, what's that? Seem recognizable? Well, if it isn't, oh yes it is. It's actually my actual shelf sitting where I am. And now I'm going to disappear. The sound may be a little bit muffled because I'm now speaking through the green screen. Now this effect is pretty nice. It's cool, it's fun, it's quirky. If I do that in a presentation, people will go, ooh, that was fun, that was different. Not because it's technically hard. It's basically just me using the screen, pulling aside the curtain that is the screen, and then walking through it or walking behind it. It's like a theater curtain, just used in a little bit different way. And it's not super original. It's not hard to do. It's not technologically advanced. I'm doing it using one of these virtual camera software things, so I can also move things around. Let me demonstrate. Here we have some background. Here we move the slides. Here's from a different camera angle. This is what it would look like. Right now there's a thing in the way, and then I can kind of, there's multiple stuff going on from different cameras, that sort of thing. But if we just jump back to this, and here, then just the simple act of being able to kind of peek behind the curtain, even if it's small, even if it's silly, it's still like, ooh, that's new, that's nice, that's fun. And one of the huge advantages that we all have right now, because it's Corona times, baby, and that's terrible. Make no mistake, Corona is bloody terrible. People are dying, people are desperate, people have lost jobs, the economy is hurting, travel is almost at a standstill. Things are bad. But what it also does is that because we're moving into a new paradigm, we're moving into not a new normal, but just a new reality. A lot of things are happening now, not for the first time, but for the first time for a lot of us. People are working remotely, they're homeschooling their kids, they're doing all sorts of things differently. And here I'm talking about, of course, not the whole world, but the privileged half that I belong to, which has things like internet connections and that sort of stuff. But since you're watching this, you're also one of them. So, where am I going with this? I'm going with this that when the world changes, when shifts occur, then suddenly we get a chance to try out new stuff. And we get a chance to get delighted by new things. Things like being able to pull a curtain and walk out of reality, to disappear behind the starlit sky. And again, it's simple, it's small, it's not earth-shattering, it's not anything. But I guarantee you, and I know, because I've tried it, that if I use this and when I use this in meetings, people are like, ooh, that was fun, that was interesting, I woke up, that was different, oh, do it again, how did you do that? And then there's a conversation. And then there's a bigger conversation about trying out stuff and new things and new ways of communicating. And then there's a bigger conversation about new ways of being human and new ways of connecting. And then there's you see where this is going. So my point is that there's one very, very beautiful thing that happens whenever the world massively shifts. And that is that suddenly we find new ways to delight each other. Small, silly, irrelevant, but fun ways. Ways like taking a green screen and making, through a little bit of clever kind of camera positioning and a little bit of clever use of imagery, giving an effect that you hadn't seen before. Now, you may have seen this before. You may have seen somebody do this trick who kind of works professionally with stage art and is now, so maybe it's for you, it's old hat. But for most people, this simple technique of using the green screen like an actual theater curtain and being able to walk behind it or walk through it or whatever you want to do, that's new. So therefore, because it's new, it's like, ooh, it's a little bit delightful. And in this world, whatever you're doing, whatever you're working with, being able to delight people in new ways is something that we're all kind of better off with. If you're in the entertainment industry, if you work for Disney, if you're doing immersive theater, if you work with comedy, then of course it's critical because it's your livelihood. But even if you don't, if you're in a bank, if you're, and I'm not saying banks necessarily are boring, but they're usually not Disney, right? If you're working in something like a bank or a utility company or tax services, whatever it may be, you should still grab the chances to delight your fellow humans in small but fun ways, because those ways can open up for conversations that open up for conversations that open up for conversations. And when it comes to innovation, which is where I live and breathe, it's easy to look at the practical innovations, the innovations that kind of make the world better, the innovations that change our lives, the innovations that are technology and science and culture and organization and business and models. It's great. Love it. But sometimes we should also remember just to look at how we can do tiny innovations and create delight. Now, I'm just going to show you what this would look like. Here's the clicker. Here's if I just did it like this. Here's the real reality, and here is the picture of the reality. Now I'm going to draw the curtain a little bit more aside so you can see the moving boxes, which I don't normally show. But it's not as much fun. And just a simple thing like saying, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to play around with this. It's fun. And imagine if I didn't just have the rest of my office behind it. Imagine if I had a painting, or imagine if I had a sculpture or something, but suddenly doing a reveal in like a physical way. Walking back and forth using that. That's fun, that's doable, that's possible, it's delightful. I think if I haven't made my point by now, I'll never make it. So thank you for listening in on this short keynote about delight and about new opportunities that we have for delighting each other, because everything is new, or at least some things are new. And I hope that it inspires you to go out and think, how can I delight someone? Whether it's in a Zoom meeting, or whether it's you're out walking your dog, or you're sending a proposal to a client, whatever it is, if there's a way that you can delight someone just because something is new, just because there's a little bit of whimsy that you can play on, that's not normal, then, well, I suggest you give it a try, especially if you don't get in trouble for it. Then give it a try. Delight is underrated. And delighting people and finding new ways to delight them. Well, I think sometimes if we had more innovation that focused on delight, we'd be, if not smarter, we'd at least be happy. Thank you for listening.